Hey, everybody, and welcome to Beach Boss. I know that you are probably staring at this screen and you see one very handsome gentleman who looks like he's at Del Mar, and then there's me, and you're missing Michelle Yu. She is in Saratoga this week. So I know all of you are probably very, very upset, but she will be back next week. She did make picks, and I think this guy, I don't know if he's on my right or left that way, Ryan Flanders, otherwise known as Benny South Street on Twitter. He is the main man behind Trip Note Pros, which is an excellent handicapping. What do we call it, Ryan? Software?
It's a tool. It's a tool.
It's a tool. So welcome, Ryan, to Beach Boss. As for those of you who don't know, Beach Boss, we do this every week. This is a challenge. You can go online. You can play against the Beach Bosses, usually Michelle and myself, and Ryan Flanders. Last week, actually, Andy B. and Cone took Spenderella Ryan in the Del Mar Oaks and kind of crushed us both. Of course, Michelle bet like 17 horses, so she got a little bit of money. The rules of Beach Boss are interesting because you get $100 and you have to only bet one place in show, but you can bet multiple horses. So what Michelle tries to do is she just tries to beat me every week rather than actually try to actually make money for the people who are listening. Of course, last week.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Yeah, no. It's pretty amazing. So, but before let me just finish up last week. I liked Cairo Memories last week. I wasn't crazy about the ride. Benny South Street, Ryan Flanders. I know at Trip Notes you're very critical of jockeys. Didn't Mike Smith go too fast last week with Cairo Memories?
And praiseful. Just honest, right? We just offer
honest.
Our opinion.
Correct.
But yeah, I thought Cairo Memories moving out of that race would have been probably the one horse that I would look for moving forward. Right. Being hooked on the front end is not a good thing, and
especially at Del Mar.
Especially at Del Mar, and chasing that kind of half length on the inside while you're pressing, just kind of no man's land. I think he could have probably eased back a little bit and found a pocket. That didn't work out. Didn't matter. It might have cost him second money, right, but was never going to beat Spenderella anyway.
She was awesome. Tell us a little bit before we talk about, and our race of the day, by the way, is a really good one. It's the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien. It's the 9th race today at Del Mar. Very, very strong field, and we're going to get into that. But before we do, tell us a little bit about Trip Note Pros, the concept. I think it's awesome because you could go in and very quickly go through each horse and look for horses. You kind of identify trouble that maybe the racing form doesn't.
That's all we're doing. We're trying to watch replays for people. I believe it's critical. I'm a visual guy. I can only back runners that I can see what's going on the track. That's just what I do. And, it just takes an incredible amount of time. So we came up with an idea where we would just sit in the replay booth all day. And it's been a long replay booth stint. It's been about 3.5 years now. We've got over 150,000 trip notes in our database.
Amazing.
And we just do the work for people. So your average trip note guy, he's going to pick out on the obvious stuff. The better guys that they're looking a little bit more closely, they're going to find the subtle things. I believe we take it to the next level. We study jockeys' intentions. I'm very good at reading what these guys are doing. You can tell who's trying and who's not, which we just watched the race at Saratoga. Some of these guys, they give up early. I'm not saying they're not trying. I think they have every intention of winning when they get in the gate, but it's good to know when a guy bags it early and he's coasting in, and you can kind of, that running line just doesn't read correctly. So there's value in that, inherent value, and that's what
Absolutely.
we're doing. We're doing the work for you.
Yeah, it's great. How does someone sign up for Trip Note Pros?
Well, free account, you can just go to the website, which is tripnotepros.com. We do offer free notes at Del Mar. There's usually one race a day or some highlights there, so dmtc.com as well as tvg.com. We do one race per day at both Saratoga and Del Mar. And teaser alert, we've got a deal. We're going to have our own PPs.
Oh, nice.
Probably in the fall, which will be super cool. So you'll be able to purchase a racing form, hover your mouse above the comment section of the PPs, and then the trip note will pop up, which will be pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so all the red notes will be downgrades, green ones will be upgrades, and then the yellow ones just kind of neutral, more vanilla notes. Kind of like a stoplight, but that'll be good.
And again, you could get free notes for Del Mar. You're offering them for free. If you're listening right now and you're not using these notes, please take a day, pick a day, try them out. there's a lot of information on there and a lot of really important information if you are playing. And it doesn't matter if you're betting $2 or $2,000. It's just information, and then you can use that information however you want to use it. But let's get into today, because as I said, this is a really, really good race. It's race 9. It's the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien. It's worth $250,000. 7 furlongs on the main track. A large field of 10, and that's been a consistent theme at Del Mar, Ryan. These big fields which provide great betting interests for people, and you've seen a lot of these races. A lot of these horses have run before. In fact, they ran each other. A lot of them can come out of the Grade 1 Bing Crosby. That was won by American Theorem. He's 4-1 today. Get Her Number was second. He's 8-1 today, and there's a big favorite in here, and that's Speaker's Corner, the 8, 6-5. Ryan, what direction are you going in?
Well, I had this clever idea. I was going to show up today. I was going to head down to the paddock, and I was going to hang out in the stall with the horse that I picked. That didn't work out.
No.
It didn't work out.
Hey, but, you can't, no harm for trying.
I had a thoughtful idea. It just didn't pan out. I think Speaker's Corner is pretty much a dunk. I hate giving out logical horses, but I do think he's pretty much a dunk. He needs to win. He wants to win this race. Some others, not so much, mainly American Theorem, who I would think would be his main rival out here on the West Coast. But I had that track is strong late running, strong outside. So actually, most of the runners out of that race did rally wide, and those would be downgrades for me, actually significant downgrades. The one horse that I think has a chance to upset is Defunded. I think he got on the
he moves from inside to outside.
Inside to outside.
Right.
He did all the heavy lifting last time. Predictably caved. I thought he got onto the Kentucky Derby, that Triple Crown series early, and just never got off of it. I've always thought he was a late running sprinter. He does have sharp speed. I think the cutback's going to hit him right between the eyes. I just don't think he's quite as good as Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner has run against two of the top horses ever.
You're taking all my thunder.
I'm sorry. Literally, I tweeted when I saw Flightline. So I was hanging out in the Eddie Logan when he won, and just an absolute canter at Santa Anita. I can't remember the race now. It slips my mind. But I tweeted, I think this is the best horse I've ever seen. And I've never said that before, so I get a pass. Oh, I hear that all the time.
Right.
Flightline was ridiculous. So it's Eddie Logan, for those that don't know, it's at the 7/8 pole at Santa Anita. He was so far in front of everyone through the clubhouse turn. He must have been a furlong ahead of everybody on the gallop out. I'm a big gallop out guy. You just have to handicap the gallop out a little bit. And this was made it look really easy. I think the only possibility that he doesn't win the Classic is if he just doesn't get the 10 furlongs. Anyway, enough about him.
Which we're going to find out next week here at Del Mar in the Pacific Classic. We're going to find out when he runs a 1.25 miles. Let me ask you a question, Ryan, because you did say you here's your bet: 98 to win on Speaker's Corner, 2 to win on Defunded.
That's my Michelle Yu angle, like a little like.
No, I like that. I like that. But Defunded also takes blinkers off. Tell us about that as a trip note guy. Blinkers. Do you read into that?
Yeah, it's not so much a trip note, right? Is it just a handicapping angle? I thought the one thing that could beat Speaker's Corner would be the two Bafferts, right? They're surrounding him. And Baffert's notorious for putting horses in bad positions.
Yep.
I think he's just naturally fast. I don't think he's going to take back. Maybe he will. I don't know. Again, that's the handicapping angle of it. If they wanted to get him in a bad spot, they could potentially do that, and that could hurt him. But otherwise,
and they know those jockeys will be instructed by Baffert. You're right. Laurel Rivers just inside Speaker Corner, Defunded outside. Ryan, you're 100% right. It is JJ on the inside and Cedillo on the outside. Both, from up north, are part of the Golden Gate Mafia that came down here. Yeah. They like that. They like that terminology, and they're right outside. And but everything you said is true. Speaker's Corner is the best horse in this race.
He is.
There's no question.
There's no question. I don't think he'll be 6-5. I think he'll be 3 or 4 to 5. But the one interesting thing is Mike Smith, who knows Baffert he knows what's coming as well. So yeah, I think he'll find his way around that trouble, and I think he'll win at a short price.
Great pick. Because I basically did the same thing. I was trying to figure out. I've been on the show for, I think it's been 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and I always try to give a little value. And this week, as I'm looking through it, I was just like, I just don't think this horse is going to get beat. So I went 60 to win on Speaker's Corner. I didn't know you'd go 98. And what I did is I took two kind of mid-price horses. So what I did, I had Get Her Number when we did the Bing Crosby. So, and I know there was a bias that day, but I also love, I'm a sheet player. His pattern is excellent. Unlike American Theorem, who ran such a big new top last time, Get Her Number ran a small new top. And I like the fact that he's moving forward. I like the distance for this horse, a little more distance. I don't think he had the best trip last time because he was kind of getting dirt in his face, kind of had Vasquez had to kind of get him outside. So I like Get Her Number to run on for a piece. And I took, interestingly enough, the other Baffert, Laurel River. I've always been really high on this horse. Baffert has a way when he turns horses back into these sprints. He makes it happen. And I think you're going to get a nice price. You're 5-1 on the morning line. You get the leading rider here at Del Mar. I think Laurel River can sit off because he's fast enough, but he's 2-turn fast. Now he's going 7 ace, but he should be in the right spot. And if things fall apart, I think this is the kind of horse that gets that, rail skimming rider. JJ likes to go around, but we'll see how the track's playing today. But I thought, so I went place and show. I don't even know if I can beat you. I actually Speaker's Corner has to lose for me to beat you today. So you're in the driver's seat, but it's going to be a great race. I think
this is one of the reasons why I didn't take place and show is because I'm convinced Speaker's Corner wins or runs second, and I think it buries the rest of the place and show prices.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I have to pick the winner, and if I'm stuck with picking just the winner, then I'm going to land on Speaker's Corner. But it'll be fun to watch.
Ryan Flanders, first of all, thank you. Second of all, why don't we have a couple minutes? Could you give us a Travers prediction? Because that's coming up in a little bit. Maybe just, we don't have to go deep. Just no deep dive. Can we beat Epicenter? I guess that's my question.
He does have a tiny crack in him because that was an outside track also. So it was interesting to see Joel. I think he was kind of hip to what the profile was that day, and he let him do his own thing. Interesting thing about that horse is he used to be ridden out of the gate. It was always like, okay, I got to get in a position.
Right.
Panic mode, and didn't do that last time. I think they made that correction. He just let him settle, and he took him to the fastest part of the track, and he rolled home. He won pretty easy. Yeah. So if there's a chink in the armor, I think that might be it.
Okay.
That he was aided by a little bit of the outside bias. But at the same time, now we know that he can handle the surface, and the track comes up in good shape today. So
what is Saratoga's nickname, Ryan?
Where dragons, what is it? The
graveyard of favorites.
Graveyard of favorites.
We just saw Jackie's Warrior get beat like at 1-9 about 5 minutes ago. So let me just real quick get to Michelle's wager. She has 10 to place and show on Principe Carlo. She loves that horse. Yeah, 10 across on the Chosen Vron. Wow. That's a nice one. And then she bet 25 win and place on Speaker's Corner. So she's kind of trapped with us, but hopefully she can prove profitable from Saratoga. Which I will never go to again. But
I've never been to Saratoga.
Ryan, look around. Do you see any rain? Do you see any humidity? You could come to the beach if you want to. Is this the best place on earth?
It is the best place on earth. Matter of fact, one of the founding members of Trip Note Pros came out yesterday. He flew in from back east, and he stood out on the veranda, and he's like, wow. This is so much better than Saratoga. And he hadn't seen anything. Literally, we're on the veranda. I'm like, wow, buddy, that's some pretty strong language. Like, we're looking at the paddock, and he's like, the breeze, the weather, it's just so amazing. So I think it's funny. You hear Tom Quigley every once in a while, or see him on Twitter. He'll post the weather report. It's got to be
75 and sunny.
Yeah, it's like
every day.
It's going to be 70 degrees and sunny every day. 6% chance of rain, which we know is not true, but
it's amazing. Benny South Street again. Trip Note Pros. Get those notes. They are very, very helpful in your handicapping. Just want to make sure everybody knows, tune in next week, 11 a.m. Pacific for Beach Boss. I'm sure that Devin and Claire will get a great guest. We will miss you, Benny. There's an online handicapping contest as well for the remainder of the meet. I think we could do it every week here on Beach Boss. You go, there's on the screen, you see the little scroll, dmtc.com/handicapping/challenge. Next week is the big one at Del Mar. It's the Pacific Classic. It's Flightline. I think there's going to be a huge crowd Labor Day Saturday. I mean, I think it's going to be crazy out here. Do you?
Oh, it'll be the best. Yeah. I mean, it's good to see crowds out here. It's kind of depressing when we went through COVID, but we're in full throttle mode right now, and it's a beautiful thing to come hang out with your friends. And have a cocktail on the veranda with you. First one's on me. Next 5 are on you today.
You got it. It's a pleasure having you, my friend, and we really, really appreciate spending the time with us. Good luck with Trip Notes, and good luck in the Pat O'Brien today. Race 9, but all of us kind of on speaker's corner, which is a little scary. I kind of wish now, good looking back, I would have maybe gone for a bomber, but he should run very well today. And you know what? His trainer is pretty good too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Beach Boss. We really appreciate everybody. Michelle, we miss you. Come back soon. And Ryan Flanders, have a great day at Del Mar.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, Billy. Good
All
luck.
right, guys.